Let me ask you something that most men over 50 would never bring up, even with their closest friends. Have you ever been in the bedroom with your partner? Everything seemingly right, yet you feel nothing? Not anger, not sadness, just a quiet sense of disconnection, like you're there, but a part of you isn't. I've had men tell me, "Doctor, I still love my wife, but I don't feel present anymore. I go through the motions, but it's like I'm watching from a distance." If that's you, even just a little, you're not alone. I've heard versions of that story more times than I can count. And almost every time, the man delivering it thinks he's the only one. He isn't. You aren't. You see, the signals of decline don't always arrive with a crash. Sometimes they arrive as silence, as a glance avoided, as a growing gap that no one talks about until it's too wide to cross. The truth? That emotional distance in the bedroom isn't a flaw in your relationship. It's often the first whisper from your body, from your brain, your hormones, your blood vessels trying to tell you something. But because no one taught us to listen, we dismiss it. We call it stress, aging, routine, and we miss the chance to reverse it before it becomes permanent. But not today. Because today, I want to show you how to recognize that silent signal, and more importantly, how to respond to it. Not with shame, not with medication, but with awareness, small actions, and a kind of strength that has nothing to do with muscle. Are you ready? Today, I want to talk to you about something that's rarely mentioned in medical checkups or even marriage counseling, but it quietly shapes how you feel, how you connect, and how you see yourself as a man. There's a signal your body sends in the bedroom, long before anything goes wrong. It's not just about performance. It's not about stamina or drive. It's something more subtle, a shift in awareness, in presence, in how fully you feel engaged when you're close to someone. Most men don't recognize this signal. They brush it off as stress, blame it on their partner, or just assume it's part of aging. But what if I told you it's actually a message from your nervous system, your hormones, even your circulation, asking for attention? The good news is, this isn't a mystery without answers. There are specific reasons why this happens. And more importantly, there are steps, small, practical ones you can take to turn the tide. If you stay with me for just a few minutes, you'll understand what that signal really means and what to do when it shows up. The first signal, when intimacy feels like obligation. It usually begins without warning. One evening, you're there, physically present, but something feels different. You're going through the motions, saying the right words, touching the same places, but the warmth, the spark, the quiet yes in your body is missing. And instead of pausing to ask why, most men power through it. They perform out of habit, not connection, not because they don't care, but because they don't know what else to do. What many of my patients don't realize is that this is often the first signal not of emotional failure, but of physiological fatigue. The body, especially after 50, begins to process arousal differently. Blood flow slows, testosterone dips, stress hormones rise and linger, and the nervous system, which once lit up easily with a touch or a glance, now needs more time, more intention, more recovery. It's not that you want less, it's that your body is whispering, "I need help showing up." This moment where intimacy starts to feel like effort is not a sign of weakness, it's a checkpoint, a gentle alarm telling you something in your system is out of rhythm. Maybe your sleep is fractured. Maybe you're carrying quiet resentment. Maybe your nervous system is running on fumes. The answer isn't to avoid intimacy or to fake it. The answer is to listen. When intimacy feels flat, it's not time to push harder, it's time to get curious. About your hormones, about your habits, about what your body might need to feel safe and alive again. The hidden culprit, slow blood, silent nerves. One of the most overlooked reasons men begin to feel not quite there in the bedroom isn't emotional or even psychological. It's biological. It's blood. After 50, circulation subtly changes. The vessels that once carried blood swiftly and responsively, especially to areas vital for intimacy, begin to narrow. Not from age itself, but from the silent buildup of stress, inflammation, poor sleep, processed food, sedentary habits. You don't feel it in your chest. You feel it in your hesitation, in the way arousal takes longer, in how sensation becomes muted. I often tell my patients, you're not numb, your blood is just late. The nervous system plays its part too. Years of overstimulation from screens, caffeine, constant problem solving can fray the connection between brain and body. When the mind is overactive, the body often shuts down. Touch becomes mechanical. Pleasure becomes a checklist. That's why some men report feeling absent even when physically engaged, because their nervous system isn't firing in sync. The signal from mind to body isn't broken, but it's slowed. Like trying to light a fire with damp wood. The intention is there, but the response is sluggish. Here's the good news. Both circulation and nerve response are trainable. With the right breathing techniques, strategic movement, and a few changes in nutrition and rhythm, that fire can return not explosively, but steadily. Like an ember you thought was out, suddenly glowing with warmth again. And it starts not with pills, but with presence. The signals you thought were something else. It's easy to think the problem is only in the bedroom. But often, the body sends hints long before that, and in places no one connects to intimacy at all. A man tells me he's waking up 2 or 3 times a night to urinate. Another mentions that his lower back feels stiff every morning. Someone else says they can't shake a low, restless tension in their belly they can't explain. These don't seem like sexual issues, but they are. That stiffness in your back? It might be blood pooling from lack of pelvic movement. That urge to pee at 2 a.m.? It could be your prostate, pushing back from too many years of sitting and dehydration. That vague tension in your gut? A gut-brain feedback loop stuck in survival mode, flooded with cortisol, starving for serotonin. These are not random annoyances. They're the early whispers of a system out of tune, your pelvic floor, your digestive nerves, your hormonal axis working overtime without enough support. What's tragic is that most men dismiss these signs. They write them off as just getting older, not realizing that if they respond now with simple changes in how they breathe, move, eat, and rest, they can shift the entire trajectory of their health and connection. Because the body always speaks. The question is, are you willing to listen before it starts shouting? You are not broken. You're not less of a man because you feel something's changed. You're not failing your partner because you've lost the fire you used to carry without effort. What's happening inside you is not shameful. It's human. It's biological. It's reversible. I've seen men in their 60s, tired, disconnected, doubting themselves, walk back into their lives with a sense of presence they hadn't felt since their 40s. And it didn't come from a miracle drug. It came from understanding the signals, responding early, making space for their own well-being. If you've been feeling like something's off, even if it's just a whisper, don't ignore it. That small silence in the bedroom, that flicker of disinterest, that hesitation you can't quite name, that's the beginning of a conversation your body is begging you to have. And if this video helped you start that conversation, I hope you'll do 2 things. First, take one quiet moment today not to fix anything, but just to listen. Second, consider sharing this with someone you trust, a brother, a friend, a son, because this signal is more common than we think, and silence has kept too many of us apart for too long. If you're ready for more honest, science-backed, compassionate insight into what really happens to men after 50, subscribe. I'll be here every week telling the stories that often go untold. Because your strength isn't gone. It's just waiting to be called back. Remember, this is not medical advice. I always encourage you to speak with your own doctor, especially before making any significant health changes.